didn't really see myself doing an oil change video, but here it is. This is how I do my oil change on my 06 Ram 3500 5.9 24 valve Cummins. This truck is a late third generation. The procedure should be about the same for an early third gen. So starting off, I'm using a K&N filter, part number HP-4003. I'm using this filter because of its accessibility to remove. I can use this piece right here on top of the filter canister to remove it. It's a 1-inch socket to take it off. First things first, we're going to start by finding a container to drain your oil into that can hold up to 12 quarts, because this engine is a 12 quart capacity. I'm going to start draining the engine by removing the drain plug in the bottom of the engine oil pan here. The drain plug is a 1 1/16 socket. You don't have to use a deep well. This is just what I used. You can use a shallow from the looks of it. Once you get your oil pan drained into your cart that can hold 12 quarts, you want to make sure your drain plug has the crush washer on it still. The crush washer is aluminum, at least this particular one is. So try not to drop it in your oil pan, because you won't be able to pick it out with your magnet. Learn from my mistakes. So once your oil drain plug is tight, after you drain the oil, you can move on to removing your engine oil filter, which is located easier in front of the tire, and it's up in there, up there. So you can actually put your 1-inch socket on this particular filter and remove this filter from the bottom here and just set it in your pan. The new filter, before you put it on, at least what I normally do is I'll open up my bottle of oil and I'll put my finger in it and I'll put some fresh oil around this rubber ring here, as long as my hands aren't too nasty. There's no reason to get a bunch of nasty stuff in there to keep this keep the rubber seal from sealing against the housing, the oil filter housing. So that oil around that ring will help keep that ring from seizing to the housing as well. It'll just make it easier to take off later on. Once the new filter's on, you don't have to put fear into that thing either. Don't go tightening it down with as much as you can with the ratchet. Like, you should just be able to snug it on with your hand, and maybe a little past snug. I mean, it's not something you need to crank on there. It's just an oil filter. You'll fill your engine through the top of your valve cover here, which is once again 12 quarts. I think this 12 quart rule lasts from about 1998 until about 2008, at least until they changed to the 6.7 model. If I'm wrong, correct me, that way I can make better videos in the future. But once you put your 12 quarts in, you'll run your truck for about 30 seconds, 45 seconds. You'll pull your engine oil dipstick, you'll wipe it for accuracy, stick the dipstick back in the engine, pull it out a second time, and check it then. If it's below the cross hatches, you need to add more oil. If it's above the cross hatches, which it shouldn't be because this is a 12 quart engine, but if it's above the cross hatches, you might have to remove some. If it's right at the top, there's no reason to worry about it. That ought to be perfect. Other than that, I think there's not much else to it. If I missed something, please somebody tell me. By the way, not all engine oil drain plugs will be the same. Some people have quick dumps that'll just flip a trigger and the oil will just drain out, but that might be an experience for another time. Like I said, any questions, give me a shout. Thanks.